brave. It was no biggie.
That face is hilarious to look at, because it makes her look like an old broad.
I can agree with you there, Zarkvlox. It is funny to look at, despite the part that you just said broad. Hello everyone, Digigex90's here, and welcome to another episode of my review series. This time I'm actually going to review the two episodes Triple Threat and Campfire Tales. Let's get started. I thought this episode was good. Not one of my favorites per se, but it's one of those episodes for me that it allowed me to take a breathe and relax. After watching one or more episodes that made me fucking rage as hell. And that episode for me was the last one, Fame and Misfortune. Anyways, I thought Spike was a little annoying with him, assuming that Amber and Thorax weren't going to get along with each other. But I thought it was kind of clever to have him panic a bit because, hey, no character in this episode had no clue what was going to happen. So I can sort of see Spike's assumption here.
I didn't really like how Spike was written in this episode. It felt like his character got regressed, because he was being retarded and being a pussy for not solving his issues.
I was going to say my opinion on the title of this episode, but a certain reviewer actually said it best.
Even the name of the episode just doesn't feel right. It's called a triple threat, but the only threat in Spike's mind is the one between the dragons and the changelings. Were the yaks supposed to show up or something? Because this is more of a double threat than a triple threat.
I will admit this, that the episode was kind of predictable in some areas, like predicting Spike will actually fail his objective of keeping Thorax and Amber occupied. I actually like the interaction part between Thorax and Amber because I actually like how they tried to help each other out by giving each other advice before confronting with Spike. I was actually sort of surprised that Spike was called by the man for a friendship problem. I said sort of because I do get that Spike is one of the 7 members of the map, but I didn't know before how the map would call him. But when I did saw Spike was called by the map by having his scales glowing, I was like, okay, I'm fine with that. But I'm still curious how the map can call out other characters other than just the main 6 and Spike. If the map is actually going to be doing this, then I wonder when the map will ever call Apple Bloom and Twilight Sparkle for a friendship problem. Either that, or the CMC, or Discord getting called on. And one last thing I have to say is that I actually do agree with 2 reviewers I know of that it was disappointing to see that they never went with the idea of a backstory between the changelings and the dragons. The idea can have a lot of potential, and it could have led to somehow Spike solving the situation. But that wasn't really the case. And what we got is not that great, but it's good enough to satisfy me. Anyway, since I'm done with reviewing Triple Threat, let's move on to Campfire Tales. And holy shit, I really love this episode. And I'm right now going to tell you why I love it. First off, I did like the beginning of the episode. I thought its pacing was alright, but it didn't drag out to where I got bored easily. To be honest, I thought the whole episode's pacing was good. It kept me interested throughout the episode without having a single moment where I was fucking bored as hell. I actually like the flighters. I know these creatures are supposed to be like a combination between a fly and a spider, and can gather in groups like that of bees and other insects, but they're still a very interesting creature nevertheless. I did actually like the 3 stories that were shown in this episode because it gave us some more insight on the lore and world building of Equestria. I also like the cultures that were shown in each of these 3 stories. The Earth Pony one resembling Vikings, the Pegasus one resembling Spartans, and the Unicorns, well, I have no idea. Probably China or something. Although, if I were to choose a most favorite to a least favorite story, I guess, My most favorite would be the unicorn one because it was very entertaining to see the two mare unicorns fighting each other, and I actually liked the spells they were using, especially the spell where it summoned a magical Chinese looking dragon that I felt like it should have been some sort of Star Wars lightsaber fight. Anyways, my least favorite story would have to be the Earth Pony one. Why is that? I'm going to get to that right now. If I were to have any nitpicks with this episode, I actually have a few. One, there was actually one moment in the Earth Pony story that actually rubbed me the wrong way. And it's the part where during the moment with the Earth Pony digging an alternate path for the lava to take so it wouldn't melt the village and the residents to a pile of ash. Apparently the stallion touched some sort of magical object of unknown origin that made him rapidly age to where he's a full-grown stallion. I know this is just mostly legend and it might not have happened, but I don't know. I just feel like this plot device was just out of nowhere and so contrived that it's just stupid. Very stupid. Anyways, my last nitpick is that I can understand Scootaloo is just a filly, and we do have our own personal phobias, but I feel like Scootaloo was just being very annoying with her hyperventilating and all that shit. But other than that, I'm very satisfied with this episode. I have heard from Sketchy the Changeling that the 3 ponies featured in this episode are actually from the Legends of Magic comics, and they will have another appearance in the Season 7 finale, along with a few other characters that haven't appeared in the show yet. Which I will admit that I actually would love to see that happening. Anyways, Zarvox, do you have any thoughts on this episode, Campfire Tales?
Well, not that much, because I can agree with some of your thoughts, like the moment with the Earth Pony grew into adult size by some unknown magical object to be forced, and so bizarre, and I do like the unicorn story the most. All I can say is that I did thought the Pegasus story was entertaining, and I do disagree with that about Scootaloo being annoying, because I did thought it was normal to have a phobia with caves, and that's tough. I think it was called claustrophobia, or something.
Well, that and a phobia with dark forces. Overall, this episode is great. It might have its own flaws here and there, but it's actually still one of my favorite episodes. Anyways, that's about it for this review. So, this is Digigex90
And Zarbox.
signing out, and we'll see you on the next video. Peace!